Hello, 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 everybody. Hey, Shannon, how's it going? Are you saying hi to yourself, or is that a sock account in there? Is there a sock account in there saying hi to you, or is it you being goofy? Because maybe we need to schedule some time. Maybe we need to schedule some phone time. Just hanging out by yourself. Yeah. Well, I mean, the afternoon groups are usually more chill, but sometimes they get pretty big. Hey, it's we're here, and so and look, Luke is here too. So I guess. I mean, I'm just like anybody else. I'm just like any just like any other fool walking around this world, mind controlled and worn out, But same old, right? Like, the positive part about this story is that it's a created narrative that in the end we win and there's a hero, and it, honestly could not be any better, right? um all stories have to be, there's got to be some kind of ups and downs and all that stuff, right? There's things that crush my spirit when I hear about them, and there's no need for any of that to be in the world. But as far as just our regular lives and things that we've encountered, right? There's a place for that in the narrative. And people that, reach out further to evil, I just will never understand that, I just will never understand what a person gets out of that, just to be rotten, you know, just to, cause people pain or cause people dissension or to make people feel insecure or you know, to blow out somebody's candle to make theirs burn brighter, right? I'll never get that. But I do know what it's like to be down and to not be doing everything perfect, right? And to be making mistakes. Yes, that's exactly right, Deb. That's what that means. You're the first person ever to get that. If I somehow don't say call you out and say hello and and tell you guys that I love you, it's because I love you more than everybody else. You know. What's up, Clutch? How you doing, buddy? So yes, Deb, you're right. You're like on the highest pedestal here. Um, yeah, I just what's up with what's up with people that like what do you think people get out of lying or messing with people or causing people to become uncomfortable or being accusatory over and over again? Like, what do people get out of that, right? Why would somebody come around you if they hate you just to tell you they hate you, And it's just I mean it just baffles me, man, because when I see somebody that's being ridiculed, right, or being made fun of or being embarrassed, right, all that makes me want to do is reach out to that person more and show that person more love, right? And so I'm at a stage in my life where I'm past the point where like I don't want any relationships with anybody anymore, on an intimate scale, right? And I don't need anything from anybody. I'm self-sufficient, right? And so, um, maybe I could offer that kind of unconditional kind of brother type friendship, and have it be a real thing, uh, not saying that, young guys out there or even older guys out there that are trying to, have relationships, not saying that there's something wrong with that. There's not, but once you're past that and you just are willing to be, because like it's not for everybody to live on your own. Some people don't want to be alone. Some people, you know, need a partner, a mate, right? And I guess it just depends on, it's not for everybody. And so, like Paul said, right? It's what he said. It was better not to get married, but if you had to, then um, that's perfectly fine, right? And it does keep people out of trouble, right? And so I do understand that. And so I was talking to somebody today. Won't give out any names, but like, I was talking to someone today about like, certain types of integrity, relationship integrity, sexual integrity, stuff like that, right? That's important, right? It's important. It's important to be that. Um, it's important to have that, especially during this time in the world where it's so degraded out there, right? Somebody has to be an example, right? But you're right. Paul explained it perfectly, right? Um, you know, he did. I mean, if that's something that you need to have in your life, then that God doesn't want you to suffer, right? But if you think about it like this, right, there's very few um, sexual behaviors, right, that please God, right? I mean, like we're not, none of us are supposed to be fornicating and all this other stuff, right? Like we just happen to live in a time, right, where that is, you know, it's on its upswing again, is being horrible, like Sodom and Gomorrah and Genesis 6 account, right? Things like that, right? And there nothing degrades a city or the world faster, right? And so that I will never understand. I will never understand that. But I'm glad that like when we are in our incorruptible bodies, right? There's not going to be any need for us to reproduce, right? We're not going to die, right? So we're not going to need to repopulate. So there'll be a different type of love that'll be more meaningful and more satisfying, right? We're not going to be missing out on anything, right? Right. When oh yeah. When Moses came back from the mountain after seeing God's countenance, right? Uh, it was too much for him. It was overpowering. I had never experienced fulfilling intimacy until I married my husband. After I had become a Christian, I know now it's because our love is the way God meant for a marriage to be. Absolutely, absolutely. Like you'll know when it's the right thing. You'll know when it's the right thing. And I think that like for me, um, like like inherently, like when I started, my faith started to really increase, right? Um, I got this sense of knowing inside me, right, that I'm not curious about anything, right? There's nothing that I feel like I'm missing out on, right? And so I feel like that I could let that go and focus that energy on something else, right? Now, not to say that I'm still a human being, and once in a while I still deal with that. that part of that, part of my humanity, right? I just don't ever give into it, in any kind of way. I just stop dating all that stuff. Now, there's people out there that'll think that this type of talk that I'm doing right now is gross or something, right? But they're more than willing to ask people for full frontal nudity. You know what I mean? Like just gross requests to people, right? But have some kind of issue, and you're speaking about having some kind of moral integrity, and so yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing. I love how you describe your marriage, right? And I like how Shannon described, I mean, not Shannon, but Stephanie described her marriage yesterday. Um, two different situations, right? But explained perfectly, right? And faith, right? And so it's good to have, like, different types of healthy relationships, as an example. Yeah, this is real stuff, man. I agree, Luke. Wow, 13 years celibate. Wow, good for you, Deb. You know, good for you. It's been probably about 5 years for me. And to be honest, it's like helped me in like every way. Like, for to be honest, like, it's crazy. You wouldn't think of it, right? But it's helped me in my life as much as anything, as much as anything. And yeah, yeah. Sorry, Deb. And yeah, you know. And so, I used to question, like, how much pain can these people out there put us through, right? And I know that I've experienced pain when I was younger, right? So I know that that is a real thing, right? And it's no way, Deb, no way does God ever, no way will God hold you accountable for that ever, ever. And I am not afraid to say that at all and speak for God on that. Because I think that God looks at us like we're his children. Well, I think that bad things happen to us, and I don't think God causes that. But I think that God can use what we're going through to help us, right? And in some ways, right? After the fact, yeah. To God, I mean, can you imagine, like how small we are, and like if you had a little tiny Debbie in your hand, right? Like a little you. It's all dressed up in a coat and everything, right? I mean, how are you going to feel about that thing? You know what I mean? Like, that's probably what God thinks of us, right? We're just these little versions of Him. And He probably loves us so much. Even when we're not at our best looking and not our like, we're probably still cute to Him, even when we're not cute to each other. You know what I mean? Like all of our imperfections. Of course, was agreement with Stephen saying, absolutely, absolutely, Clutch. Thank you for giving confirmation on that. Because there's just so many people in the world, right, that are just like, especially if you're a nice person, right, and you're like a giving person, there's always somebody out there that will take advantage of that. And it sucks because it's really like, it's not really a curse. It's our gift to other people, is how much we can do for others, right? But we end up getting hurt because of it, right? And I think God puts a little extra protection for us for some reason, because there's times where I feel like I'm protected by God when really maybe I don't deserve so much protection, right? And I think because we know that we don't deserve um, that protection is why we get it, you know? I think you have to know that you're not worthy in order to for God to consider you worthy of that. You know what I mean? Like it's it might sound confusing, but I think part of being lifted up is being humble, right? And yes, if we ask for things, he will definitely we will receive, right? That will happen if it's within his will, and we do everything according to the template, right? And so yeah. Right, Luke. I mean, it does make sense to us, right? And I was talking to Jake today about, like, like when there's people that like read the Bible a lot and are always thinking about God, right? Like we can have conversations, right, where we get it, we understand each other, and we like if I say something is in the Bible, you already know that it's in there because you know it. You know what I mean? And like you don't have to like come out with all these scriptures to prove everything, right? Because like you both know, and it makes sense to both of you. And those conversations, you could fit a lot of spiritual discussion in a couple hour conversation if you're not always having to show somebody what's in there. Like if you're just as familiar with it as I am, it's easier, and so it is what it is, right? And so, I think sorry guys, I had to crack my neck. That was my neck, if you heard that. But so tomorrow I'm gonna have Jake on to do his testimony slash just a show, because I think it goes in multiple parts, right? That it's gonna take more than just one show for someone to get their whole um journey through the truth and journey to God, right? And so want to make sure to have him on. I do want to have Dee Dee to come on the show again, but there are some things I wanted to talk to her about first. Nothing huge, just wanted to ask her a couple things. And so I'd like to get that set up. And if any of you guys want to come on, right? Don't think that I'm skipping over you or that because I want everybody to come on. Everybody. Like there isn't anybody I don't want to come on. Especially if you're part of this group, right? And and that's obvious who these people are, right? The people that come here all the time, right? And yeah, and you know what? Um, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Deb. Oh yeah, it doesn't. Oh wait. I just now realized if I comment to Steven in live time, it probably doesn't convert well to people watching afterwards. Well, I mean, I try to understand that it doesn't hit me until later, right? But it is hard to I think the people watching afterwards, they get it. It's probably better if they see the chat though. Matthew 21:20, and all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive. That's clear as day. It will happen. What's going on, Alex? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's if it says in there, right, that it will happen, it will. And I think that people sometimes get confused, right? Like if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains, right? If God needed me to move a mountain, right? If it was within my path and within his will, then I could do it. There's no doubt, right? Now, it's not like we're going to have our own power to move mountains whenever we want, like just forget whose house is on there and none of that matters, right? Like we're not going to do anything on our own power. All the power that we ever shine, right? Like if there's any shine that comes through us, right? It's God, right? It's his power. We're just borrowing it, right? So it's nothing you can boast about that God's working through you. It's people have to see it or they don't, right? And some people see it, and those are the people that will benefit, right? Because they're seeking God in the same way, right? And so there's people that like we see it in each other and it's obvious, right? But other people look at us and they're just pissed off at us, they don't get it. They think we're being somehow boastful or somehow like we're above anybody, and that's not the truth. And so it is what it is. um if it's God's purpose, we can move mountains, yes. Yeah, there's no doubt. And in fact, I think we will at some point if this is the last days, which I'm pretty darn sure it is, because I even talked to a normie today. I wouldn't say he's a total normie. I mean, he's a Christian but he was even saying, yeah, he knows we're in the last days, like, and he's not fully on board with all the truth stuff yet, but he sees the stuff that's obviously not real, right? He's not like a zombie, right? He sees it, like all the contradictions and all the different stories that we're getting from all the different sides of the news, right? And it's the same game, right? Over and over and over again, and people aren't catching on, right? They show you the most extreme example, right, of the other side, and then they show the other side the most extreme example of that side, and it's really in the middle, right? It's two wings of the same bird, right? And we really got to just separate from any sides and just not even be involved with it. Hey, Stephanie, so glad to see you. I'm glad you're here. And so I think I'm gonna have Jake on tomorrow evening. I think that'll be cool. And so yeah, I'm ready for that. And had a long talk with him today. But every time I talk to one of you guys, it's over an hour and a half. Every single time, it's like without fail. Like, I mean, if it's an hour, sometimes it'll be over in an hour. And it's not that like it's any kind of an effort. It's like, wow, where did the time go? Like it feels like 10 minutes, but it was really a long time. And yeah, it is. Yeah, it will be fun to have him on. That'd be great. Oh, you mean being on the phone, being on the phone, Deb? Yeah, it just feels like it's like hasn't been that long, but it's like over an hour and a half. That's crazy. Because by the time you get 4 phone calls in, right, you're like, man, the day is done, man. It's already time for another show, and so I do get more done in the middle of the night. I try to stay up in the middle of the night, and then because I only have really 3 people competing for my time, and for some reason, all the easy people are up at night, you know, because they live in other countries, right? And so it's easier, right? And when I say easy, I'm not saying that anybody's more difficult. I'm just saying some people need less time, right? And so that's what I mean by that. And everybody's all at different different levels of different things. Like not everybody has all the same gifts, right? And I think that that's interesting, right? Learning about people, right, has been just as much fun, I think, as learning about God, you know? Because I never really would have thought of, you know, thinking this in depth about, you know, the different parts of people, right? As far as like emotional health, right? Physical health, mental health, right? Spiritual growth, right? All these areas, right? Somebody might be really mature in three of them and immature in one of them, right? And so everybody has a different way of communicating, or you know what I mean? And so a lot of prayer goes into that, right? Like God has to, right. We're all a team, and I think that's why we're not all the same, right? Is yeah, sometimes I overshoot it. Yeah, you're right about that. Sometimes I overdo it, thinking that I'm helping, right? Sometimes I go over. But it's so hard because we all have to learn how to be like patient with people that are hard to be patient with, love people that are hard to love, right? Deal with people that are hard to deal with, right? Because we were those people at some point in time, right? In other ways, right? And so it's it's humbling in a way because you're like, wow, because I'm like that too. There's things about me I don't see that other people are probably pissed off about. You know what I mean? And I just don't see that, you know, that I'm doing it because, you know, I don't look at me all day, right? Yeah, and see, like I think we're all different. Like Luke is saying, right? We're a team. We're a body, right? And so, like, you know, you got a one hand, one foot, you know, one eye, one ear, right? Everyone has a different function, but we are dependent on each other, right? To have a one form. Hey, Darlene, how you doing? I hope you're feeling good. You know we're gonna live for eternity. Either way, I just want to make sure everyone feels happy because it's not always about like thinking about the end, right? It's about living in the moment. I agree with that. I agree with that. We need to live in the moment and do our best, right? It's like you don't got time for what ifs, man. You got to live in the moment. You know what I mean? You don't got time for what ifs, player. You better start thinking about right now. But that, I mean, but for real, right? Because it could be, it could wear on you to always be thinking about, like, okay, what's going on in the world? Okay, the jab, okay, technology, okay, they're lying to us, blah, 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 right? Same old, right? And it's good to go over that so that we're not, so that we are in reality, right? But I think the focus should be on like, how are we going to, you know, how are we going to live our best life, right? And do the most we can for each other and for God, right? Because like before my before I had this kind of faith in God, right? I really lived my life for myself, right? Like how much have I achieved, or how much, you know, where am I at in life? How much do I have, right? These kinds of things, right? How much time do I have left, you know. Hey Faith, how you doing? Oh, that's fine. Thanks for stopping in. That means a lot to me. Oh yeah, man. I'll tell you what, like when I had my first kid, right, it was a lot of work, right? But when I had that second kid, I thought it was going to be twice as much work, but it's not. It's four times as much work. And then when you have another kid, you're like my brother has four, right? That's an unbelievable amount of work, you know? And so, yeah, definitely take care of the kiddos, get them fed. Yeah, I think that's good. I want to start like I guess I got to start scheduling things like if people are going to help on a regular basis, right? Then I want to like have a schedule of like, who's coming on when so people can kind of, know what's so people can kind of know what they're doing. Sorry guys, I have to get something out of the bag here. And so with everybody helping, I think that um a nice schedule would be good. Because I don't want people to like, because now there's so many, I'm just so grateful. I mean, for the longest time, I prayed for anybody to help me, right? And now everybody is willing to help, and I think that's so awesome. It'd be good to have like a little schedule. Darlene, you got to come on one day and talk. Maybe even tell your story. I think that would be great. Because I see you talk on other panels. I think that would be great. Like to get everybody's kind of, even if it's just like a short little testimony about like what brought us to the truth. Because it's weird, because isn't it weird how like all of us were like, I mean, you could say we were conspiracy type people to begin with, kind of contrarian type thinkers, right? Against the authority a little bit, like, why are we following these people? What's the other side of the story, right? Like most people don't question it, right? We're those people. So you can say conspiracy minded people, but it's just people wanting to look at both sides, right? Yeah, what's the other side of this? Like what's the I want to know the real truth. And so did we all just like one day like, oh, I'm craving a kind of a conspiracy. I'm gonna check some things out. Now that's what happened to me, right? Because I kind of already like I was into the 9/11 stuff like back in like I don't know like 2008 2009. I believed that it was what it is what it was, right? But I took a big break and I didn't come back until 2017. And I was like, maybe I want to look into the moon stuff, right? And then boom, like all the flat earth stuff started coming up. And I was like, I don't want to look at just flat earth stuff. I was like, that's dumb, right? And then I looked at it and I was like, what? No way, man. You know what? I didn't. But the thing that messed me up was the first person that I told about flat earth in my real life became a flat earther in one day. And I thought that if I spread the news, right, to everybody, they would get it and everyone would be a flat earther. And was I wrong, man? And I still believed things like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the news and tell the news about it, and we'll get it out there. Not knowing that everybody, I was so ignorant. that yeah, I know, man. And so like um and so like yeah, like I thought, yeah, the news, man, and Trump is gonna get is gonna get the NASA to admit it, or something, something stupid like that, Now looking back on it, right, I'm like, what was I thinking, man? And if it wasn't for Michelle X, right, Michelle double X, right, she does the transvestigations, right, and really deeper work than that, but she does very good transvestigations, right, and she's got a medical background, and so it's more professional, and so that is what helped me snap out of like, wow, the whole world is they can't be on our side, right? They're hiding that at least, right? Like, so there's different filters, truth filters, I would say. Like, if someone's not talking about flat earth or talking about the stuff in Hollywood or talking about the lies on the news, right? If they're not talking about these things, how do I trust them with anything? I mean, if you know what I mean? Like, if you believe that what's her name, Cameron Diaz is a woman, then how do I trust your discernment about anything? And that's hard. That's hard, right? Like, I don't want to say these things with my mouth, right? That I mean, when I found that out, I didn't even want to tell another human person. I was like, oh my God, how do you? I mean, talk about ruining your credibility. You're gonna tell somebody that stuff, right? And so I'm like, well, I mean, either you accept reality or you don't, And so, like, I'm not against talking about it, but it's still hard to tell. It's not a main thing that I'll talk about, right? I mean, I'll bring it up every once in a while because it is what it is, right? Yeah, because yeah, truth channels that are Globers. Forget it. I mean, or even like Bible prophecy people that say, oh yeah, I heard from God and he said that an asteroid was going to hit the earth, like, you didn't hear from God, man. Get out of here, man. Not with that story. You know what I mean? Like, you better say something different other than you believe someone sent a car into outer space headed to Mars, right, in some 25 billion year orbit around Mars. Get the hell out of here, man. So you believe a car with tires and air in the tires and all that is up in space right now with no air pressure differential, nothing blowing up, nothing. That's ridiculous, man. And then what did he say? It looks so. It's got to be real because it looks so fake. I wonder how much. Did he spend his own money doing that, or was that did the government did the government help him out? Oh, they got all these satellites out there. Oh, they cost billions and billions of dollars, right? There are no there are no cars in space, man. Come on, man. There's people starving out in the world, man. You know what I mean? Like, if that was real on any level, man, I don't know why people wouldn't just be infuriated that people are hungry and someone's sending a car to Mars, man. Even if that was real, it's absurd, right? It's an absolute absurdity. Yeah, because people with a lot of money, right? Like, that's some kind of trophy, what, that you have a lot of money? Like that, like, I'm supposed to be impressed with that achievement? Now, I knew I was never going to be a rich person, man. Not when I saw Jerry Jones was talking about or someone was saying that Jerry Jones spread like a rumor that there was like a serial rapist, right, out in somewhere, right, to get the property value lower to buy a bunch of property. And I'm like, so you're telling me all those women were in fear, right, of some story you made up so you could save 10, 15 million bucks or whatever, and you're proud of that? Like there's no way I could be rich because I can't live with myself. Like to do that. And hey, Raven, how you doing, buddy? There's no way I could I would be able to live with myself, right? Yeah, there's no car floating around the world. Come on, man. With tires, with air in the tires. There's no way there's a car floating around outer space. That's the most absurd thing I've ever even heard, man. Or what did somebody say? Like there's or these guys they're say they're going to space for like 20 minutes or something like that. They go up there and they if you fly a rocket off of the Earth, right? And you know, you keep going up to thinner and thinner air, right? Well, what's keeping the Earth from leaving you? Like it's flying around at breakneck speeds, right? So what's holding you to the Earth? Now somebody told me, right, and this is their real explanation, man. Is that they say that the atmosphere is attached to the ground and everything moves together. So the unbonded air molecules are dragging dragging that rocket, right, with it flying around the space. That is ridiculous. And so someone explained this to me, right? Because, you know, of course, the space is a vacuum, 10 to the negative 17 torr, which is just, I mean, a vicious vacuum. I mean, treacherous, right? They can't even make a vacuum 12 orders of magnitude less than that, right? Orders of magnitude, right? And it's pulling air through like 6 feet of steel, you know, concrete and steel, right? That's unbelievable. And they want to say that the air goes up to a certain level and then it stops. And so that layer of air, right, between the vacuum of space and the Earth is just going to sit there and not be sucked into the vacuum of infinite volume, right? Which that alone, the volume of it is more important than the I mean, it's just unbelievable, right? And so they say that that level of air that is not going to be sucked into that infinite volume. But if an astronaut took off his helmet there, his eyes would be sucked out of his head, you know, like, but the air molecule, it's going to stay right there. It's not going to move. They call that the Kármán line. They just draw some arbitrary line. Well, what is that line? Is there a barrier there? Is there like you know, like what is holding the air at that line? You can't just you can't just draw a line around the earth and say the air stops there. I mean, what does that line represent? Like that's what got me about the black swan, right? Is somebody was arguing the someone was arguing the black swan. They tried to say that, that there was two horizons, the one you see and the one you can't see. You know, geometric, the geometric horizon and then the non-geometric horizon. And I said, well, where's the geometric horizon, right? And the guy took a pen and drew it in a line where he said that where the horizon was the second horizon that, and I said, you can't just draw a horizon on a photograph, like, and say that's the horizon. You can't just draw one on there and say that there's two now. Like, you have to take a picture of it and it has to be visible, You can't just draw a line and say, oh yeah, it's right there. That's the geometric horizon. Yeah, you talk about space and the views do go up. Yes. Yes, it does. If you talk flat earth, it goes up a little bit. Because the flat earth group, right, loves flat earth, right? And the people that don't like flat earth, they really don't like it, but they'll stay just to say they don't like it. It's very interesting that dynamic. But anyway, guys, guess what time it is? Well, yeah. I mean, the black swan is a term used for a lot of different things, right? But the idea of the black swan is that if you say that all swans are white, I only need to show you one black swan to disprove you, right? Because if I show you one black swan, then they're not all white. And so there's a lot of black swans, right? Because you only need to prove something one time to prove it false, right? Anyway, guys, it's time to hit the old dusty trail. Praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. And all glory to God because he deserves it. Pray for the children. And I will see you guys. Oh, hey, Raven. I hope I said hi to you already. I saw you come in and I meant to say hi. And so I'll say, I'll see you guys. Deal dusty concrete. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 a.m. God bless you guys. Love you.